friends, Harvey Michaels here. Welcome back to our wild ride with Danshui President Plunge Spear Bloom, a story that had me on the edge of my seat while writing it. I'm excited to share a taste with you today. If you're new here, go ahead and tap that like button and subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming next. All right, let's jump in. Chapter 2, It Should Work. Willie and Kingfish, Jimmy and Family. TV light from Taiwan Star Talent Search flashes over Willie, sitting on the floor chair, leaning against the acrylic wall-encased hospital bed. From above, with a hateful, mocking laugh, Kingfish announces he is awake. Willie thinks he hears the sneer he cannot see on Kingfish's face as the show narrator introduces Jimmy on the talent show. Willie is familiar with Marty Goetz's iconic Psalm 23 arrangement, and from the production quality of the first piano notes, he realizes Jimmy and his sisters equaled or bettered the inspiring original. Violin and cello alternatively harmonize and support or introduce the melody with great aplomb. Jimmy's sisters play passionately while holding their postures, arms and faces in control this first song, detracting no attention from their brother or the video superimposed in the background. Willie's vision blurs. Tears roll down his face for the first time in years. It surprises Willie how heavy the teardrops are, pulling down the corners of his mouth. He feels sorry on behalf of someone, for Kingfish, the first time he ever experienced such sadness for anyone. Willie understands Kingfish is infinitely pitiful compared to Jimmy's family there on TV, who are suffering now, but they have already won a jackpot. Evidence of their jackpot streams in a background slideshow as Jimmy sings and wows everyone watching. Jimmy's family are richer in this life than most billionaires for their priceless lifetime of family experiences with unshakable faith there on display. Their father was gone, but hope was absolute that he would meet them someday in the next life called paradise, heaven. As the first song ends, a smartphone rings. Willie hears Kingfish, somehow sober, speaking quietly and urgently into the phone. Willie hears Romeo's name. Kingfish argues with his son about something. Finally, he speaks loudly and clearly enough for Willie to hear. And Kingfish's words chill Willie to the bone. Wake up the A-team to come help you clean up and take you together to meet me, and then we all go together to our new life. After you make the calls, go back and kill them. Kill them all. Willie shakes his head, sick in his guts and thighs for Dee and Sanbao. Willie feels 100 kilos heavier, numb and thick and scared. He isn't sure what to do for a long prayerful minute. Meanwhile, back on TV, Jimmy's mother enters wearing a long, dark gray dress. She walks on stage to an electronic drum set pushed on stage during the applause after the first song. She will accompany her son and daughters for the second song. No Taiwan Star Talent Search audience has ever been so emotionally expressive. The ovation and the emotions are for Jimmy's father and his family, and raucous cheers are for the jaw-dropping performance. Jimmy clearly did jayo, as his father implored him to do in his last words. Willie's blood pressure rises. He feels thick squeezing in his beating chest and slow swirling panic in the back of his head and neck. He breathes deep breaths, prays for strength and the right words to speak. Jimmy and his sisters force themselves to keep it together during the loud, impassioned standing ovation. It lasts so long, the station cuts away to show a news update related to the national state of emergency. On stage, the lasting ovation tests Jimmy's family's breaking point. Each of them struggles, fighting back feelings weighing heavily on tender hearts. They specifically requested the audience wait until they finished both songs before applauding for just this reason. As their mother Ruth joins them and stands at the electronic drum set pushed to the left of Jimmy, she shines "I love you" eyes her children recognize, calming them. Until the applause and cheering die down, Jimmy and his family make cycles of looking back at each other, bowing to the audience, and mouthing "thank you." Finally, except for a few remaining sobs and some quiet weeping, all unheard to TV listeners, the audience hushes as Jimmy raises his chin and lifts his hands from the keyboard to signal the others. He plays a piano introduction to the second song, a cover of the REM song as old as Jimmy, "Everybody Hurts." Jimmy's mother and sisters begin quietly, adding initially modest, then more stirring backup harmony and rhythm. A large screen displays images explaining why Jimmy and his sisters and mother sound so polished. On screen behind them, at home in their own living room, their father is sitting there listening in rapt attention. At the bottom of the television screen, an explanation scrolls. The video you now see is Jimmy and his family at their home playing the same two songs, their father's favorites. Past the introduction, past the first stanza, the first time Jimmy sings "Everybody Hurts Sometimes," his sisters' arms and bodies and swinging hair begin showing intense animation of their till now held back feelings. A second camera view briefly points to the judges' table, all in tears, one of them breaking down. Behind the judges' table, it clearly moves the people in the audience. Some are shaking in their seats, crying like at a funeral for their best friend. Willie stands up at the foot of Kingfish's bed. He calmly steps directly over to the side of Kingfish's hospital bed, with its thick acrylic sides pulled up. Kingfish's face turns over and up at Willie, pausing before lifting his eyes to leer at Willie. Kingfish's eyes are more bloodshot than ever, but the old man looks totally awake and totally insane. Not the same person who Willie shared the last day with. From somewhere in his bedding, Kingfish digs out a heavy black revolver. He swings it over and points it at Willie with his right hand. In his left hand, he holds out a white plastic zip tie. "Don't make me blast a hole in you, Willie. Tie your right hand on the front bar of this bed's side wall." Willie obeys, focusing on that task, better than staring at the big dark gun barrel. Until now, he never noticed the single bar bolted on the side panel of that unusual hospital bed. Kingfish smirks. His face twists into a mask of hate and malice. While pointing the handgun with his right hand, he raises a before unseen remote control. "You sure have a lot of remote controls. This will be the last one you ever see." Kingfish's upper lip lifts on one side in a sneer. "I know it was you in China in '96. You think you're so smart, but I'm forever one step ahead. That's why you kidnapped Wang Sanbao." "Wang Sanbao?" Kingfish's face shakes and morphs between rage, triumph, and delight. "Of course! President Wang was behind everything. Ha! Now he's mine!" Raising the remote control like a weapon, Kingfish stops and pauses in thought. Wait, Romeo said a foreigner came to negotiate. Could that be Andrew Fisher? I have D there too? He laughs maniacally and begins raising the remote again. Kingfish pauses one last time with a slow, curling sneer. It shocks Willie when Kingfish taunts. You never found the list of names on the laptop, right? It was in bookkeeping accounts paid in full. Everything you think you did, Willie? Kingfish sings 4 descending last notes of sneering laughter. It's all for nothing. Nothing you saved will go anywhere you intended. Since now we have your cell phone, Willie, we can delay 8 more hours until we remove your computer server in Taiwan. Willie's eyes turn away in epiphany, flashing back to China, reliving the panic of thinking they were done for, and his teenage oath to protect Wanda was out of his control. His eyes widened more, realizing it was Kingfish chasing us then. It was Kingfish who killed Pieface in 2008, not Hunter. He was the one who tried to kill Dee in 2000, not whoever chased and shot at them. Willie's right arm reaches out, grabs the bar imprisoning him, hoping for a conversation with this deranged man. He moans out a plea. You still have time to change. You're so totally lost. Willie is about to tell Kingfish to be this angry he must be afraid, but he never gets the chance. Kingfish never responds to Willie's impassioned appeal. Neither does he respond to Jimmy singing, urging everyone to not give up on life, but to hang on. Instead, Kingfish holds up the remote control as if he is about to switch the TV show off to achieve a denial of the indictment it made of his life of atrocity. The first shot goes high, and the second spear misses to the right. From behind the hanging forest of tiny bells tied on long strands of nylon fishing line behind the zebra pattern newsprint paper curtain hung to the right of center in the large open closet, a powerful air compressor noisily comes to life. It burps between the first small, slipped push and the following real blast of power. The machine's stutter-started half-second lull after the first 2 high and wide shots saves Willie. Unlocking the heavy-duty hospital bed break hours earlier saves him more. Willie, grasping harder on the bedside bar, jerks down to hide and instinctively pulls the only thing that could give him cover from the direction of the threat, the side of Kingfish's bed next to Willie. No! Push me back! Kingfish screams, his last words. In a blink, his face changes from exceedingly felt victory to fury and finally fear. He squirms lower down on the bed to get away from something terrifying him. The custom acrylic sides of his hospital bed, unbeknownst to Willie, were there to block an onslaught from a spear-firing Gatling gun. Kingfish knows the wide opening between the headboard and the pull-up bed sides will expose him if the bed is not secured against the just wide enough support column. Unwittingly, Willie left the break off, disobeying Kingfish's command when he moved the bed to retrieve the surveillance bug he dropped on the floor, all while Kingfish was in the bathroom many hours ago. Willie's adrenaline-fueled heave yanks the bed over from the support column it rested against and rotates the corner of the bed, shielding Willie and proving to be Kingfish's undoing. According to Romeo's idea and Turtle Skipper's engineered design, an industrial-strength air compressor dispersed explosive air through one horizontal, pencil-wide thin, 36-hole nozzle strip. Simultaneously, because of this invented nozzle strip of spread out blowing power, one nozzle length row of 36 machined barrels files spear gun pole spears from each barrel. After each line of barrels empties suddenly, viciously, the giant spear Gatling gun rotates one notch. It is an oversized multi-barrel synchronously firing revolver, something a doomsday James Bond villain would come up with, a one-of-a-kind nightmarish weapon. Each line of barrels clicks temporarily into place for less than half a second. Then the next 36 shoot out as if from a gun. After that first burp from the air compressor, full power ensues, automated hellfire of 1,000 razor-sharp aluminum spears. Hundreds of spears keep coughing out, shooting and whizzing and crashing. The longest half minute of Willie's life. Some spears fire faster than others. All are razor-tipped and deadly. 36 spears per half second. Each blast fires from the weapon's 3 o'clock position, horizontal, dead ahead and gut level with Willie. All the spears curve randomly from the imprecise gun barrel exits of the doomsday weapon. Positioned right of center in the closet, some shooting spears don't knife straight ahead, but curve around the pillar intended to protect Kingfish. A number of them slam into the left side of the 86-inch television, destroying the image along with the TV screen. 10 seconds into the barrage, as Willie shrieks uncontrollably, he peeks over at the sound of spears crashing the TV screen and sees the television fade to gray. At the same time, he feels a spear go through the back of his head, through his scalp, above the top of his neck. He instantly ducks back down and keeps screaming. Just as he thinks the scalp wound doesn't hurt much, he is speared a second time, which is excruciating from the instant it deeply pierces his buttocks. After the air compressor, ear-splitting air hammer noise from firing spear barrels stops itself, the oversized machine retreats to smaller and smaller whining sounds and then switches off. A final sound. The last of the 36 columns of 36 barrels of fired spears clatter on the floor from where they hit. Some dangle, stuck around the room, impenetrable surfaces, black cabinets on the TV wall, Willie's ice chest and the TV set, and in softer targets, such as Kingfish and Willie. Before he even lifts his head to look around, Willie remembers back several weeks before when Kingfish's son, Romeo, and the A-team hurried things into the apartment saying nothing. First, they moved cabinets and easy chairs that blocked each of Willie's fiber optic cameras, even raising a floor lamp that blocked the ceiling camera, moving things back when they were finished. That day, Willie had ears in the room, but no eyes, while Kingfish and his men were busy. They were suspiciously quiet. Now he knows why. They were installing this weapon of mass destruction. Willie scolds himself in hindsight because all the fiber optics cameras were pointing to the other places in the large living room other than where he needed. The closet with the zebra pattern paper curtain directly opposite Willie, blocking the Gatling gun, never showed up in his spying devices. He lifts his head, stiff and stinging from the spear through the back of his scalp. There's a humming of aching sensation from all the conglomerated pain Willie feels. This can't be. Willie's vision pans the bed from bottom to top. He sees tens of spears lying on top of Kingfish's bedding and legs that hit the bottom side of the inside of the hospital bed. spears skewered both feet clean through, but Kingfish does not complain. Then Willie sees, closer to the headboard, Kingfish has at least 3 more spears that penetrated deeply, also sticking out of him. Willie knows Kingfish is done, though not dead, not yet. He is speared through his face, between his right collarbones, and diagonally directly into the top of his head. A checked moan croaks from Willie, half standing to better look Kingfish over. Only when Willie moves does he feel the 3rd spear sticking painfully into a rib on his right side. He turns his chin down to inspect this source of intense burning. Willie can't help but flash a grin. How long has it been since I had no beard and could feel 2 days of whiskers scratching my shoulder? 8 years? He notices the TV sound is on. It's crazy because the TV set was speared no less than 20 times, and either dust or smoke is hovering around it. Willie hears Jimmy sing, urging Willie to not feel alone. No matter how he moves, the spear shish kebab through his buttock cheeks torments him, but the one sticking straight out from his rib hurts even more. It's in the rib bone enough to not shift when he moves. It just trembles there. Willie, the most unselfie person ever, has a surprising urge to take some pictures of his appearance. For an instant, between gasps of pain, Willie thinks how funny he would look to Dee, triply lanced, especially the spear through his scalp still hanging there halfway in, halfway out. Dee! He grabs for his smartphone to call Dee, and he remembers Dee already knows everything Willie can tell him for now, and a phone call was too risky. With his left hand, he grabs one of the razor-tipped spears lying on Kingfish's legs and slices off the zip tie binding Willie's right hand. With 2 free hands now, he types and sends Dee a short line message. Emergency! Kingfish is mortally wounded. The other bad guys are coming. Be ready. Within seconds, Willie releases the data files to go straight to Colonel Shun. Then he prays quickly for his best friend Dee and surprises himself for the loud sob that comes out along with the prayer. He wants badly to call Dee to hear his voice. Willie snaps out of his short reverie. He starts to call Colonel Shun in Taichung instead. His phone rings before he can complete the call to Shun. He sees from caller ID it's Ibi, probably checking on the progress of the will, maybe calling by accident. But Willie knows it's not an accident, not really. Ibi, pray for Dee. He's in danger right now. Through the telephone, on a TV in the background where Ibi's calling from, Willie can hear Jimmy singing over and over, hold on, hold on. Where is he? Her voice is practically screaming. He's with Wang Sanbao, and it's not safe. Help him. Get there. Get someone there! I will. I'm calling now. Willie texts into the hacked line account shared by Kingfish, his sons, and the A-team. Abort. No more kills. Secure the hostages. But there is no answer. As Willie hits the number for Colonel Shun, he takes a closer look at Kingfish, which is not easy. 2 spears went deep into him. One between the collarbones, which Willie thinks should be hitting vital spots. But the blood is not spraying out, which it would if it hit an artery. Neither is the wound sputtering or bubbling. It must have missed both arteries and lungs. Willie shakes his head, thinking out loud. The other deeply penetrating spear went through the top of Kingfish's head, so deeply the pole spear must have gone all but through his brain. Kingfish's slicked back hair has fallen forward, shadowing his eyebrows. He's still alive. His eye is blink twitching nonstop. The good one is, at least. The 3rd spear went through Kingfish's temple and most of the way out his eye socket, taking Kingfish's dangling right eyeball with it. The TV show and the song are ending to the sounds of rousing applause and cheering. Willie remembers Jimmy singing as if to Willie to not give up, imploring everyone repeatedly to hold on as Colonel Sun finally answers his call on the fourth ring. Willie takes a breath and feels the exhaustion like weights on him. Still, he fires the words out as fast as he can. I've sent you the GPS coordinates where Wang Sanbao is. It's on Highway 2 in Sancher. D's already there. But it looks bad. He takes a big breath. If they make it past the sun, there are 6 armed bogies on the way or there already. But Colonel, it's a complicated rescue. The bogies will kill everyone. They need to know Kingfish is gone. He's dead or just about dead. He's here with me. I'm hurt. He's hurt worse, maybe dying. Willie's voice changes, more earnest. And in Sancher there, you need to know the girl is not complicit. They have forced her all along and handcuffed her to Wang Sanbao. She and her father are 2 cooperating, blackmailed individuals you have to know about. And you can't bring regular police in. Trust me. Willie remembers and emphasizes this. There are corrupt police all over on Kingfish's payroll. You have to put a lid over all of this or it will fall apart, Colonel. Willie pants and waits for his friend to answer him. Wait. Say all of that again, Willie. Colonel Sun tells him after a pause. What? Willie shouts. The part about Sanbao and the 2 helping and the bad cops, Colonel Sun says calmly. Are you serious? You got my emails and the files, right? Willie gasps in pain and annoyed frustration. Yeah, I can't believe all the stuff you buried me with, man. Then comes his familiar chuckle. Keep talking, Willie. I got the right kind of help on the way to you. You did good, Willie. Now tell me everything again. From the beginning. Take your time while help is on the way. Okay, Colonel, give me a minute. Willie clears his throat to get air and get control of his emotions. He looks around the disaster zone and the room, a bizarre scene. 1,000 shining spears like arrows are piercing everything that lets them stick in. Furniture, trash cans, ceiling boards, and the rest lie all over the floor. His shirt is wet, and he thinks he smells fear in his sweat. A small white fume comes out from behind one spear sticking out of the TV set. The sound stops. Still, Willie hears from memory Jimmy singing, as if just for him. Willie, you're not the only one with heart pain. You're not the only one to cry. Trying to start from the beginning with the Colonel, Willie breaks down in rocking sobs for what he's been through, what he's heard confessed, and what he knows his best friend Dee is now facing. He sees an image of his lifetime best friend Pieface before Kingfish had him murdered 8 years ago. He feels the weight of the long, long journey to this point. Colonel Sun comforts Willie. That's okay, Willie. Big guy's right here. I'm right here. Over and over at the same time, Jimmy sings in Willie's mind, you're not the only one, so hold on, hold on. Minutes later, Willie is calmer, and Shun excuses himself to attend to things he has to get to. While Willie waits for help, he thanks God and thinks about what a miracle it is that he survived. He was wounded, but alive, against all odds. It was an elaborate trap. Kingfish never let on. He knew I was surveilling him. How long was he wise to my snooping? Willie wonders and then shivers. This weapon was so overpowering. No wonder Kingfish was so indifferent, so confident. He assumed I would not escape his trap. Kingfish remembers. After years of mind-sucking depression, daring to pray again for a breakthrough in his quest for Pieface's justice. That was when the martial arts teacher called with the name of Coco's tutor from 15 years earlier. Willie begins asking God for forgiveness for doubting and scheming. He is stopped halfway through by an overpowering sense of God's presence and the words, "We're good, son." And that's a wrap for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What stood out to you? If you're enjoying the journey, please share with a friend. It means the world to me. Want to hold the whole Danshui President Plunge adventure in your hand? It's waiting for you on Amazon. And if you do, please leave a quick review. Until next time, take care. I'll be right here ready for the next chapter. See you then.